Hello, beautiful people, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. Today, I'm bringing you my friend and my guest, Linda. She is a physician assistant who is working in the general and trauma department. And if you're wondering what the heck is a physician assistant, we'll continue watching because she is going to share her story and her knowledge and what is happening at wherever she is right now. If you are someone who is interested to work in the medical profession, well, please continue watching because you will learn what other options there are in the medical industry. And if you are someone who is not living in the US and would love to know what is going on and how you can help, please continue watching as well because Linda is going to share a little bit of her own opinions. So enjoy! Before we start, I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I know your work must have been busy. And honestly, I'm so happy to see your face.
So good to see you too.
Thank you. And before you share with people what you do, I would love to know, how are you feeling today?
Feeling good today. It's my evening and it was a really hot day, but I'm feeling excited to be here and talking with you.
Actually, share with people what you did today.
Woke up, did some reading, answered a lot of emails for work, and then walk my dog. He gets a long walk in the mornings when I don't have to work. And then I go to the gym, which is now in my garage because I still haven't gone to the gym because of COVID and everything. But get a workout in and then run a bunch of errands in the afternoon. Yeah, it's a pretty relaxing day. Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Gotta prepare myself for the work week that starts tomorrow for me.
Yes, you got this. And also, if your dog wants to be in the picture as well, if he wants to come in, that's okay.
Oh my God, Tori, he's staring at me. Come here, bud. Come here. Here we go.
Hi.
There he is. This is Tori. Tori.
Everyone.
You're a Pomeranian.
So cute.
He's almost 8 years old. He's a good boy. He doesn't like computer screens though, so he's probably gonna want to run away.
Okay.
You understand. Computer screens are bad. They're bad for you.
Well, please share with people how you got to where you are today. Have you always been into medical industry?
Actually, in one of the rare situations, I always knew I wanted to go into medicine. Starting in high school, actually, I knew I was always more interested in the sciences more than the arts. And, when I got into college, I spoke with advisors and took all the pre-med route. And then eventually, somehow, was kind of nervous about going to medical school because it's 4 years and that's a lot of loans you have to take out. And, physician loan debt is like a real big problem in America, at least. Like, people can end up $500,000 in debt trying to go through school. So like just thinking about that was just giving me anxiety. So I spoke to one of the pre-medical guidance counselors, and she introduced me to this master's degree where you can basically practice medicine called physician assistant. And I kind of was like, this sounds exactly what I want to do because it's like kind of a fast track on getting through school and starting to practice medicine under the supervision of physicians. And so that's what I do, a physician assistant. I don't know if they have those in Australia or not. I know some, like the UK, South Africa, have very similar roles, but I don't know if you know in Australia.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But can you please explain to people what it is?
Yeah, of course. So the title is physician assistant. It's very similar to nurse practitioners, actually. Like, we actually apply for the same jobs. It's just a different route of going through school. And I think a better way to describe it is more of a physician extender. So we work alongside physicians and practice medicine and provide healthcare in all sorts of specialties like primary care, surgery, cardiology, psychiatry, OB-GYN, neonatology, you could name it. You'll find some sort of physician assistant or nurse practitioner who works in those fields. And we work in pretty much any phase of healthcare. So that can be outpatient in a clinic, it can be inpatient in a hospital, it can be, in a rehab hospital, it can be in the operating room. And we are licensed to diagnose treat medical problems. We order tests, diagnostic studies, and we also prescribe medications, perform procedures, and assist in surgery.
Wow.
So that's a lot, I know.
Yeah, I love it. And what is the difference between that and nurse assistant?
The nurse practitioner, they go to nursing school and they get a degree in nursing, and they typically work as a registered nurse for a year minimum, and they go back and get a master or doctorate in nursing to become an advanced practice nurse. So whereas me, I go to college or university, get my degree, and then I apply for a master's program. So I don't necessarily, it's like very two different routes. I think the physician assistant route is more similar to going to medical school and getting an MD, because you kind of do that same path, whereas the other one, you go down the path of nursing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining it. And for those who are listening and watching, if you want to get into like medical industry, I see there are many other ways, and I'm sure if you are interested,
there's so many.
Yeah, like get in contact with Linda. Like she would love to talk to you about it.
Yeah.
Would you like to share what has been like the top 3 most challenging part since being a PA?
So I work particularly in general surgery and trauma surgery. So, you know, you only learn so much in school. You know, you kind of learn the basics of everything to get past your boards, but once you get your specific jobs, there's a lot of on-the-job learning. So, you know, you can't just stop once you get your degree. Learning is a lifelong kind of thing. So that was kind of one thing, trying to get on your feet and be responsible for taking care of people while still, you know, trying to pick things up and learn. The second one is my job working in general surgery and trauma surgery. It can be a very high stress job. We get a lot of critically ill people, you know, whether it's car crashes, gunshot wounds, stabbings, you know, we see it all. And yeah, I know we see it all. And, you know, you're responsible for doing, you know, X, Y, and Z throughout the day, but you never know what's going to come in. So learning how to prioritize was a second thing on my job that was, you know, they don't teach you how to do that in school. You have to figure that out. And it's important in to becoming a efficient and provider, juggling tasks, making sure you have attention to detail, because, you know, if you miss something, it could have a devastating consequence.
Yes.
And then I guess, third one, I forgot. The third one I would say is burnout prevention. Like I said, because, you know, the job can be very busy. It can take an emotional and physical toll on you, like seeing some of the cases that come in. You know, you just have to have an outlet outside of work, especially when you work multiple shifts in a row. It can be very take a toll on your body. But, you know, like I said, having outlets, whether it's my support system at home, and honestly, my coworkers are amazing. And, you know, that helps us get through it together.
Yes, thank you so much for sharing that, because I feel like the 3 points that you have shared, it goes with literally life every day, and also with many industries. Like, because my background is design, and yeah, there was so many things that we weren't taught in college. And really, you know, the stuff that we get taught in college, it's utilized in real life, but you really need to realize that you need to think on your feet and learn how to overcome problems and etc. Speaking of how, you know, you need to offload your pressure, and the stabbing thing, oh my God, I can't believe it. So how do you handle anxious and stressful situations now?
Well, like, honestly, one of the things I do is, you know, if I'm having a really bad day at work, I always remember, you know, everything is going to end at some point. The clock will stop, and that kind of helps me reset and not get too overwhelmed. Like, whatever comes in. You know, there'll be a time when you are able to catch up with your other tasks, but you got to take care of what's important now, and just, you know, taking a moment and breathing. Like, taking deep breath in and just kind of resetting yourself can really help. And something I recently started doing is meditating. And honestly, it's been amazing. Like it really helps you kind of not only energize yourself, but like kind of lets you reset your state of mind as well.
Yes, I agree. For those who struggle with meditation, I would highly encourage you to download the app Insight Timer. And it's free. Honestly, it's amazing. And also, I will be sharing some links in the description, and you can go and follow it. And with the prioritizing thing, thank you for bringing that up again, and breathing, because I guess it's really hard to sort of calm yourself down and be like, it's okay to sit still, because we have been trained to be like, go, go, go. So now is like a perfect time for people to prioritize themselves and look after their health. How is your work right now?
It's actually with the COVID and everything, I was like honestly very anxious when everything started happening in New York City. I was just waiting for it to happen at my hospital in our area, but I think luckily we were never truly overwhelmed like New York City, probably because we're not just as densely populated as that city is. But there are cases, and our ICUs are incredibly full. Like every day we go to work, we're always trying to figure out who we can like move out of the ICU because there's just not enough beds. Because not only do we have our normal people who come in sick during the summer, come in from car accidents or gunshots that need to be in the ICU, but now we have, 50, 60 cases of COVID in the hospital that it's just crazy. You would never have that many people with the same diagnosis be admitted to the hospital. So it's like a real problem. That's just, we have to take everything seriously during this time and not get complacent to the problem.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess also not get caught up too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy that you're meditating and looking for ways to relax yourself. Speaking of which, you know how you say you want people to take it seriously?
Mm-hmm.
How would you encourage people to really look after themselves?
In general, I think making sure you listen to your local governments, because they typically, are wanting to do the right thing. Sometimes it seems like it's impinging on your freedoms, but, the CDC, at least, the CDC is the Central Center for Disease Control in America. They recommend wearing masks and try to do social distancing, and these are measures that are proven to work and prevent the spread of disease. And I think in general, at least where I live in North Carolina, in Durham, people do a good job of doing this, but there's definitely some situations where I know like there was a concert in the Hamptons in New York City last weekend. The Chainsmokers, apparently they threw this huge concert, and like it's a big deal now. Like the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, is like very upset at them, and is, there's still people who clearly think it's over, and I understand everybody wants it to be over. Nobody wants to be doing this, and it sucks like having to isolate yourself especially during the summer when, there's all these fun things going on, festivals and whatnot. But unfortunately, now is not the time to, kind of ease up on these restrictions.
Yeah. Well, how would you encourage people to look after themselves after COVID, their overall well-being?
I think in general, just like try to live a healthy lifestyle. Healthy is not only physical, but also mental. Making sure you have mindfulness for yourself, I think, is important. If you're having a lot of anxiety in your head or depression in your head, you make sure you try to find resources to help it out, because I think that's equally as important as, exercise and eating well.
What would be the 5 things that you would 5 tips actually you would give to people?
Okay, my first tip is, it's a big one, unplug and get outdoors. I can't get over how many times, like even personally, if I spent all day looking on social media, you just feel terrible. It does something to your psyche. And I always notice the days that I'm happiest is when I'm outdoors or doing something with friends or walking my dog or going on a run. I think that's very important and something that's easily overlooked. as an easy thing to do to make yourself, instantly boost your mood. Second thing would be endorphins. So exercising, I truly believe it, like the endorphins really also, play a positive role in your life. Whenever I'm feeling tired or miserable, like if I go and do something, even if it's just like a 10-minute workout, if I don't have time, I instantly feel better. In terms of diet, I don't follow the really strict diet. I've tried to follow strict diets, but honestly, I go by eat what makes you happy. Sometimes it might be a salad that makes you happy. Sometimes it might be pizza. I don't believe in restricting your diet to the point that it affects your mood either. I think being a healthy person means, like I said, mentally healthy too. So, eating a bunch of veggies with no cheese, if that's going to make you sad inside, why are you doing it?
That sounds good.
I love food, so.
Me too.
And then number 4, I would say like self-care, kind of like going with mindfulness is, I consider exercising part of my self-care, but also, whether it be like putting makeup on, even during the pandemic. I didn't wear makeup for a long time, but one day, me and my friend, we put on makeup and Zoomed each other, and it was great. And we had our own little date.
So cute!
Or like doing like a manicure. Like I know it sounds silly, but everybody, it might be different. It might be like picking up a new hobby or like learning how to draw, something that just soothes the soul, gardening, anything, Self-care comes in many different forms. And then my last tip would be like continue in education in terms of, I know like when you're done with school, you think you know everything, but there's so much out there that you don't know about still. And it's up to you as an individual to continue your education, whether it be reading books or, I don't know, how school is, they only can teach you like X amount of curriculum. So, there's so much out there in terms of history of your countries and real truths that you don't learn in school that, as an adult you need to find.
I love it. Thank you so much. The points that you have brought up are so beautiful. Hey,
thanks.
I love them. So firstly, when you say get outdoors, I completely agree. For those who are listening and watching, I would encourage you to watch the earthing episode that I did with Dr. Mondi. You're gonna love it. And with the exercising thing, I get it. Not everyone likes to run or go to the gym. They like to sit on their couch or whatever. I completely understand that. But I would highly encourage you, maybe perhaps start dancing to the favorite music that you like. That is a form of exercising too. And especially given the current time, you really, really want to move your body. Otherwise, yeah, you're just gonna sit there and be fat and
melt into your couch.
Yeah, it's not very.
I'm guilty of doing that every once in a while too. So
Me too. We don't sit there for the rest of the week. So yeah, that's very important. And I honestly love the point how you brought up about being an adult. We need to be responsible about keep on learning, and that is so true. Like you keep. What does Steve Jobs said? Stay hungry and stay foolish. Because you continue to learn, and if you don't use your brain, I said that last time as well. I said if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So continue to learn new things or whatever. And yeah. So how are you really looking after your own overall well-being, and how are you and your partner making sure that you have a balanced lifestyle?
Between our work, because we were fortunate enough during the COVID epidemic that we were able to keep our jobs because we're essential workers. But in our off time, we are very avid CrossFitters or cross trainers. Now, I know there was a lot of controversy with the whole CrossFit organization, but it basically is just like a bunch of different exercises. Yeah.
What is it?
The CEO came out and like tweeted a very racist thing. He said, like, it's not COVID-19, like Floyd 19 after George Floyd, and it was very bad. Anyways, they ended up having to like take him away from the company. They sold the company to another guy, but yeah, but it's like so hard to describe that type of exercise. I mean, cross training, I guess, would be an equal term, but CrossFit is kind of the term that people internationally recognize. So, but yeah, that's what we do basically. It's just like so many different. You can make any workout. You can every workout's different. You never get bored. There's so many different things you can run. Like I just really have focused on this kind of activity for the last 3 years, and it's kind of like my hobby outside of work that I work on. And then about 9 months ago, I started picking up like Olympic weightlifting too, which is sometimes part of CrossFit, but it's just a really great stress reliever to throw around heavy weights and after a long day. We also do some home cooking as well. Matthew, my husband's a really good cook. His mom was a chef, so
yeah,
he does some good cooking. And I mean, I like to cook too, but his cooking is definitely better than mine. I'm more of a baker. Outside of cooking and exercising is I love plants. I have like a veggie garden that's kind of doing all right. The hurricane kind of blew through and everything's kind of a mess, but I also have a lot of houseplants. I love houseplants. I truly believe like plants make people happy. I know they take in the CO2 and they give out oxygen. So I don't know, green colors. It just feels like you're kind of outdoors even when you're indoors. And I think that's what I love about them. So
yes. So what have you and Matthew been cooking lately? And also, what chef was his mom? Is she still a chef?
So she worked at she trained in like French cooking. So he's Vietnamese. So the Vietnamese have a really close relationship with like the French because they were colonized by the French. So there was actually a pretty well-known restaurant called Le Bec Fin in Philadelphia when he was growing up. And then she was actually a sous chef. She started in the pastry chef there. So
what is the latest dish that you guys have cooked?
Yeah. I actually been toying around with a lot of like vegan or plant-based foods. I actually made, just because it's like I've done a lot of reading on how it's better for the environment, like eating meats just leaves a very large carbon footprint. I mean, I still eat meat. I'm not like plant-based or anything, but I just think being able to cut down on it and just trying different sources is interesting, and it tastes good to me. So I actually made some vegan chicken from scratch. And basically you take like tofu and you take a bunch of vital wheat gluten, which is just pure gluten, which is what a lot of people are like deathly allergic to if you have celiac disease, and you blend it together, boil it. It was really crazy, but it tasted like really good. Like it was amazing that I made my own. It's basically like seitan, which is something you can buy at the store, but I made it from scratch. But we used that chicken and made like chicken parm and a bunch of different other like chicken dishes, but they weren't chicken. And I thought that was it's kind of cool.
Yes, it is cool. You should share the recipe. For those who are listening and watching, if you're interested, I will leave the recipe in the description.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'll send it to you. It's this guy who I follow on Instagram. He makes actually a lot of pizzas. That was another thing we've been making. We got a pizza oven that is like the one that you like shoot, like you launch pizzas into. It's portable. But this guy, I think he's vegan. So he posts a lot of vegan stuff, but his pizzas look amazing. And I get a lot of my recipes from him. So
yeah, amazing. Now, for those who are not living in the US, and yeah, as you were saying about everything, and it's really hard to avoid, I guess, watching the news. Actually, personally, I don't watch the news. So for those who are watching and listening, if you watch a lot of news, here, you know what, Linda is gonna, what would you like to share with people?
I can only imagine what it looks like being somebody not in the US, looking into the US. I mean, we're not in a good place in the US. We have people in charge of our country who just choose to look the other way, whether it be about acknowledging the severity of the the pandemic, or our inherently prejudiced system that has and continues to affect persons of color. We need to support each other, and we cannot continue to accept complacency and allow injustices to take toll on each other. It is up to our generation to be the change we want to see in our world. And I truly believe that. And I think I'm more motivated than ever to help make this change possible. We got an election coming up, and, we're helping get people to the vote, get mail-in votes, get people registered, all these things. You might not think it's a big deal, but I think any little bit of help kind of can help make progress in the right direction. And that's what we need right now. We need anything at this point.
Yes. Thank you for sharing that. It must be quite painful to say whatever you have to say.
Yeah, it's every day you still wake up and you can't believe what's going on, but it's reality, and there's nothing we can do about it right now. But there's always, I believe that if the masses can come together, we can bring change. And I truly believe the greater population of America wants what's best for this country, and they want change. So hopefully this November we'll see some changes.
Yes. Yeah. So I guess for those who are listening and watching, if you don't live in the US, that's okay. I mean, if you know someone who lives in the US, maybe you can encourage them, share them your thoughts. And the message that I'm going to say right now, it doesn't matter where you are. I just want to tell you that you are very powerful as an individual. And please do be the change that you would like to see in the world. And we are here not just for ourselves. We're here for many other people, for the future generations. And we're all human beings. We're all connected. And what you do little bit by little, you will encourage others to follow. You will definitely inspire many people. So please don't underestimate yourself. And I'm sorry that I'm not there to hug you right now. Before I ask you my last question, is there anything that you feel like I didn't ask or you would like to share? Or maybe some advice that you would like to give those people who might want to become a physician assistant?
Well, if they want to reach out to me, I'm happy to guide them. The process for becoming a PA, I'm sure, is very different now than what it was when I was going through that. It's probably oh my God, 6 to 8 years ago. So I think the process is a lot different, but I am definitely here to give advice or guide people in the right direction, especially if this is something they're interested in.
My last question for you is, how do you think we can be there for each other in general?
I think it's very important just to be kind to one another. You never know what somebody else is going through. And wear a mask.
That was so funny. With the kindness thing, when was the last time that you did a kindness act? And what was it? Except this, giving me your time.
Well, I don't know. I mean, it's really easy, if you're having a bad day, to get upset about something little, or, get caught up in the moment about something. I'm guilty of doing that. I'm not this super kind person, I feel all the time, but you have to step back and think, like I said, you never know what somebody's going through. In general, I feel like we are in bad situations in the world because people aren't kind. So why can't we just go back and think about that and treat each other the way you want to be treated? Going back to that, I think that's a big point. And if people could live by that rule, I think we'd be in a different space.
That's right. We don't know what people are going through. So for those who are listening and watching, if you need somebody to talk to, please feel free to reach out. And maybe we should cheer everyone up with your dog. Get Tori back.
Yeah, Tori. Towards me, bud. Here he is.
Hello. Yeah, I hope you guys are feeling much better after looking at this adorable dog. Well, thank you so much for your time, and I'm so happy to see your face.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's good to see you too.
I hope you guys enjoyed the chat as much as I did. It is always amazing to catch up with my old friends. And seriously, if you want to get into the medical industry and would love to know what options there are, feel free to get in touch with Linda. Her details are in the description below. And I truly love the 5 tips that she encouraged everyone to do more of, which is unplug and get outdoor more, increase your endorphin by exercising, eat the food that makes you happy, have a self-care routine, whatever that may be, and continue learning. I would love it if you can share with me what your self-care routine is like, or maybe you can share with me whatever the latest things that you're learning. You can comment below, email me, or do a social post and tag me, whatever suits you. And I really mean it when I said you are powerful and that you can change the future. And remember to subscribe, click the thumbs up button if you have loved it, and share it with someone because you never know what they're going through. Click here for more inspiring stories, or you can click here to discover how amazing you are. And remember, you're amazing and you are not alone. I will see you next time.